In this video, we're going to go over the 5 steps to success in investing through Section 8. Mastering each one of these steps is critical to growing your business and achieving true financial freedom. So let's jump right in. Utilizing Section 8 as an exit strategy in real estate has some immense benefits, but it's not all fun and games. In order to really capitalize on those benefits, there are a few key factors that have to line up that essentially are non-negotiable. So in order to execute effectively, as well as coach others to execute effectively, I've put together a 5-step framework that cover all of the underlying variables, the strategies, the tactics, and the must-haves so that you get the max cash flow possible, as well as mitigate against risks to the extent possible. Mastering each one of these steps is critical, and if any one of them isn't done correctly, it can have a negative impact on the entire situation. So let's jump in. The first step to having success investing through Section 8 is selecting the right market. Now, there are a couple important click downs when it comes to selecting the right market. Anytime you are doing a thing, you are also not doing something else. It's not just about selecting the right market, it's about not selecting the wrong market. One of those top benefits to using Section 8 as an exit strategy is achieving that rent that's 10 to 30% higher than you would achieve in the private pay market. That is not the case everywhere. So you must do the work up front or leverage the work that others have already done and choose a market where you will have the potential to achieve maximum cash flow and maximize your profit. There are several different factors at play, which is why we have an entire module dedicated to this. But in short, selecting the right market isn't just about selecting a market based on landlord friendliness or even based on costs. You want to think about price to rent ratios, the FMRs, the payment standards, the available voucher holders. There's a lot more that meets the eye when it goes into nailing home where you want to invest. Additionally, irrespective of the market that you end up investing in, you must select the right areas within that market to actually acquire properties. This is one of the most overlooked aspects in investing in Section 8, and one that I see most commonly missed on by people who have bad experiences. A lot of times, the best deals that you'll see on market are deals that are in high crime areas that are very undesirable. It can be easy, especially when you're first starting out, to get seduced by the numbers and not factor in the realities that come with investing in those kinds of areas. The most important principle here that I can't stress enough is you want to invest in a quality house in a quality area where someone wants to live. Don't make the assumption that just because someone is on Section 8, they're okay with living in the hood and not being safe. It is true that in many markets, you'll be able to rent out a property in the hood to Section 8, but the likelihood that you'll be renting it out to a quality tenant is substantially lower than if you had a quality property in a quality area. So select the right market where you can maximize your cash flow and the right areas within that market where you can land high quality tenants. Step number 2, when it comes to having success through Section 8 investing, is building a world-class team. Now, this may be the most important step, especially if you are investing remotely. If you have some missteps on selecting the right market, or maybe the area that you invest in isn't as great as you thought it would be, you have some abilities to navigate those situations more so than you would if you select the wrong people to manage your day-to-day operations and help you get established in the market. If you got the wrong property manager, not protecting your investment, that'll end up costing you a ton of money and a ton of headaches. If you got the wrong real estate agents not guiding you in the market correctly, that will influence your decisions and lead to a likelihood of you investing in the wrong area. If you have the wrong lender not guiding you authentically and honestly, you can get caught up in some bad financing and get yourself in a lot of trouble as an investor. If you don't have the right contractors, you can get absolutely murdered when it comes to doing rehab. So building a world-class team and getting A players in these areas together who do good work at fair prices and help guide you to make the right decisions is absolutely critical. If I had to stack rank the steps, which they're all important, this one would be number one on the list. Make sure your team is comprised of A players, because it's those players who will influence heavily success in all the other steps. So if you select the right market, the right area within the market, you build out a world-class team, the next step is to find and land killer deals. Now, finding and landing killer deals is easier said than done, but that doesn't mean that it's hard. A lot of your ability to execute on this step simply lies in your beliefs about it and the amount of work that you're willing to do in educating yourself and taking massive action based on that education to land deals. This is the difference between people who are successful in real estate and people who aren't. It isn't about how much money you have or how much experience you have or whether or not you got good credit or all of these things people believe are necessary to be successful in real estate. If you can find a deal, everything else will fall into place. I guarantee you. Finding a deal is like a magnet for everything else you need. You got the right deal, you'll have no problem getting money, no problem finding partners if you need them, and no problem cash flowing on that property on the amount that you should be. So learn the ins and outs on how to find and land the best deals, and the rest of it's really a cakewalk. Because part of what makes a deal is finding a high quality property in a high quality area, which leads to step 4, which is land high quality tenants. So if you do everything else right, you're in the right market, you got a solid team, got a killer deal, but you get a bad tenant in there, that could turn a great situation into a nightmare. So don't gloss over this aspect and just take the first applicant who comes and have tunnel vision about the rent that you're about to get. Because if that person's not the right person, you're gonna have a whole lot of expenses that go along with the rent. All of these things are connected. Part of the reason why you're doing all that work up front to get in the right market and get in the right area, and you're getting a world-class team together to help you find and land deals in that area, isn't just so that you can get the high numbers when it comes to rent. It's so that you can get the high quality tenants to rent out to. And this is where the stigma around Section 8 is really pervasive, is that the tenants will trash your properties. And that exists because people do not execute correctly in this step. They don't land high quality properties in high quality areas. They don't land high quality tenants because they don't properly screen them. And then you have these nightmare stories about tenants trashing their properties and this overall sentiment that's widely held around staying away from Section 8. Which, by the way, for a Section 8 investor is great because that means it's less competition for me. But for someone trying to get into it, the takeaway is that you can mitigate against those risks simply by sticking to your principles around the quality of tenant that you rent to, even if that means you have to wait a little bit longer to get the property rented out, or you have to work a little bit harder to find a quality deal at a quality discount in a quality area. Landing great tenants or failing to do so will make or break you in this business. So educate yourself on the strategies of how others are already doing that and set yourself up for success. And last but not least, step 5 in having success investing through Section 8 is growing and scaling your business. If you've done everything correctly, gotten to the right market, you've invested in the right areas within that market, you've built out a world-class team to help guide your decisions on those investments and execute the day-to-day operations of your business, you've found killer deals and landed those deals, and then you've rented them out to high-quality tenants, I promise you, the last thing that will be on your mind is stopping. When things go right, you will get addicted to doing it again and again and again and really achieving scale. It's when things go wrong that people burn out or don't really achieve the growth that makes the whole thing worth it. You land a couple properties, get some nice cash flow, a couple extra $1,000 in your pocket each month, that's great. But you're doing a lot of work here, and you got to ask yourself how you're defining success. So even if you're doing everything correctly, if you only have a couple properties going on and you're satisfied, think bigger. True financial freedom isn't going to come from landing a couple properties and renting them out to Section 8 tenants. In order to achieve that goal, you will need to scale. So learn the principles and the strategies on how to go about doing that so that you can turn those couple properties into a couple hundred. And in doing so, create the life that you deserve for yourself and the people that you love. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.